America. That's right. This is Made in America show here on the King's Broadcasting Network. I want to welcome all of you. We are streaming live on the World Wide Web at hometalkusa.com. A lot going on in the Made in America segment. And we want to, again, welcome all of you. And I'd like to welcome my sidekick, the Made in America guy himself, Mr. Greg Owens. Hey, Mr. Greg, how you doing, my buddy?
It's great to be here with you, Michael. Doing well.
We got a lot we got to talk about. We got a great some great guests. We got Mr. John Gardner is going to be on the show a little later, but a lot going on. As you know, uh, yesterday, day before yesterday, the president he always promises what he says he's going to do, and we bomb Iran. What's going on? Everybody's waiting for the bill. We're going to talk about the bill that's being. We knew it was going to kind of be kind of steady there a little bit, or kind of stalled a little bit, and then we also have everybody's waiting on the tariff situation. So we got to get the ball moving here. Anything you want to share? What you're hearing in Washington? I know you're kind of plugged in over there. What's going on? I'm kind of disappointed. What's going on? I mean, I'm happy that we decided to take out the nuclear thing over there, but a lot going on, and all this is going to affect the Made in America products and companies. We're just sitting, waiting right now to. Did you feel like we had a stall pattern right now? I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a couple things going on that impact the tariffs and the trade. Number one being the big beautiful bill that passed the House, and now it's in the Senate. They've said that they'd like to have something resolved by the 4th of July. And there are big differences between the current Senate version and the House version. A lot of the trade positions, namely the de minimis exception, are not in the Senate version currently. I was on a call with the crew from prosperousamerica.org last week, and they seem to indicate that maybe that was left out in the first draft of the Senate version on purpose because they need to maybe negotiate some things, and that hopefully it will get back in there. And then, of course, once that bill is finalized and passed by the Senate, which everybody expects they will do, it goes back to the committee, and it needs to be reconciled with the House version so that they can come up with one clean version and vote on it. So everybody's sort of in a holding pattern, waiting to see what's going to come out of that. The other thing that has happened in the last week or so is that the Section 232 downstream products comments period came to a close. So what that means is that everybody who wanted to come out and generally say something, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, and something negative about extending the steel and aluminum tariffs downstream to products that are made out of steel and aluminum, well, they've had their chance to get their 10 cents in, and Secretary of Commerce has 90 days to come back with a recommendation to the president on which of the, I believe it was 27 different categories should be implemented, and a time frame for doing so. And we're hopeful that that will be a favorable thing for domestic trade. What are the steel mills supposed to do if they produce all the steel and they don't have customers to sell it to?
Yeah.
And like we've talked about in the past, they're not going to export it. I mean, China's flooding the world market with cheap steel. Yeah. So you're looking at your domestic market, and it all ties back into this national security issue and national economic security issue. We need steel mills to be able to produce all different types of grades of steel. We need them to up their production capacity. And in order to do that, they're going to need customers. So that's what this is all about.
Yeah, and I know the media kind of hides it in a way. Well, it's being stalled, which is a little part of it, is that on the cutting the budget. That's it kind of got stalled that way. The House version did not cut the budget enough. Well, they could always come back and amend the thing. It's a lot easier to bring it back than the Senate forward, if that makes sense, because they've already passed it in the House. They just got to do their amendment, amend it a little bit.
And yeah, Michael, you turn on the news and you listen to a bunch of different things, and all you have to do is turn on, Fox on one side and CNN on the other side, and you get two
Yeah.
different versions of reality. What I would consider what you're reading and listening to and watching on the news, it's political theater is
Yeah.
really what it is,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have a whole lot to do with the serious conversations that are taking place behind the scenes. And until they come out with the final version, we really won't know what those serious conversations are. Uh, I'm pretty confident that there's a lot more um, agreement, even across aisles, behind the scenes than there ever will be
Yeah.
publicly because of the politics.
And the biggest advantage that we have is that I mean, you're on the ground floor. Hell, you're in Washington. You've been in meetings. You kind of on the ground. You get it. You're getting, not the stuff behind closed doors, but the
No,
stuff when it comes out of the closed doors. You're there,
I,
and
I, I
the
yeah, I talked to
information.
the people who
Yeah,
maybe have been behind closed doors, or at
yeah,
least
yeah,
in meetings after that,
yeah,
and they kind of give you an indication of where things are headed. And
yeah,
you combine that with a little intuition, what makes sense? Because a lot of these things that you read on the news, particularly the extreme things on the left and the extreme things on the right, well, they just don't make any sense.
yeah.
So in the end, one of the things that actually does work well in government is they move very slowly and very cautiously. So
Yeah.
some of these knee-jerk reactions and hysteria that you see in the media is very unlikely to translate into
Well,
legislation.
and the difference between two stories that we're getting, the first story, you have elected officials that have to go back and face their constituents because they're constantly running, especially if you're in the House, it's every 2 years. Senate, it's got a little brief recess there a little bit, 6 years. But the point is, you have a president that's got nothing to lose. He can't run again. So that's the point. He's trying to get as much as he can in his 4 years, where the House and the Senate just sits back because they know once he's gone, then uh, so there's a time difference going on right there, and we're still at warp speed. I mean, his first 100 days was serious, but we're still at warp speed. What's going on right now? But
Yeah, I mean,
now,
one of the things that
yeah,
happens in DC all the time, and I don't know that it'll be the case with the big beautiful bill because it's pretty much going to go down party lines, but it's
yeah,
not uncommon, like you say. Representatives have to go back to their district and speak to their constituents. Well, there might be something in the Democratic bill that the Republican needs to support because of local reasons. And when it comes down to the end and they count up all the votes, they'll provide cover to that representative and allow them to break with party lines in
yeah.
order to preserve their situation at home. So it's just a lot of gamesmanship and a lot of
Well, and
politics.
I also got to let my audience know. I mean, maybe they didn't realize just because you're in a Republican district, that don't mean that they're going to vote Republican or a Democrat district. Because right now, I think we have nine U.S. And matter of fact, I was talking to one last night. Very impressive guy. We have nine U.S. Representatives that are Republicans, but are majority Democrat districts that are getting elected from the Democrats. So we got to make that understand that that's still nine votes out there that even though they're pro what's going on with the president or pro president, they're still in Democratic districts that wants to come over to the conservative side. So I just wanted to throw that in there. You have just because you're a Republican, Democrat in the area, that don't mean you're in your majority district. Because there's nine of them out there. Yeah,
And that's the way it's supposed to work, isn't it? You're supposed to
yeah,
go down to DC and represent your constituents,
and
and
the policies. That's right.
you
Yeah,
can have influence within your own party to how those bills are constructed, and you can be allowed sometimes to vote against them
yeah,
if it's in your constituents' interest and it's not going to thwart the outcome.
yeah, and that's so important. But man, we're going to have some great topics and shows coming up in the future, and we're going to keep monitoring it. And we just, we welcome all of you out there. Just keep listening to the show and go to hometalkusa.com. All right, we're going to have to wrap up right here on the Made in America show. I am the Cajun contractor Michael King, the Made American guy. We're going to be back with John Gardner. Y'all stay tuned here now.